Welcome back to your Monday morning motivation, y'all. Colton Woods here. And this morning I want to talk with you about unreasonable faith. Unreasonable faith. And the message I want to share with you guys today is very much focused on practical life experiences and nothing along the lines of scripture. Not because I don't want to, but merely because I have a lot to learn on that side of things. The last 18 months have certainly challenged me on a mental, emotional, and spiritual level like I have not experienced in a long time. And for that, I am thankful for the opportunity to grow within the obstacle and the challenge that we have been facing. And this concept of unreasonable faith has been at the forefront for me in the past few months, because as a very pragmatic, very practical, black and white, solutions, logical oriented person that I am, I like to have the answers to things, and I have had more instances in the last 18 months than I believe I have consciously had in my life where I did not have the answer. And I think the more that I get into that, the more I realize that I don't have the answer to a lot of things. And then that bears, well, then how are we going to figure it out? How are we going to get out of this situation? How are we going to achieve those goals and those dreams that we do have as people? How are we supposed to know that we are on the right path to fulfill our greatest potential that we were put on earth to have? All these things that I've considered deeply in the last few months. And there's a lot of angles that you can come at that. And that is, and in the most difficult moments, I have genuinely just laughed. Even when my wife asked me, how are we going to do this? And as the man of the house, as the husband, as our leader of our family, feeling like I should have an answer, there's been moments where I did not know exactly how we were going to do the things that we needed to do. And sometimes I would just laugh. And I would laugh because the only answer that I could drum up in that moment was that I've got faith that it'll work out. No step-by-step plan in that one. But the first step is having faith. And from a very practical, logical standpoint, it is it feels like one of the most unreasonable things to believe. It feels unreasonable in a time of hardship when you need answers, you need moves, you need wins, you need to make money or fix your health. There are things that have to change. And I think at the core of it, I've always believed that we should work like it depends on us and pray like it depends on Him. Yet at certain moments when your back's up against the wall and you need something to break loose because you got things on the line, and the only thing you can come up with is, I got faith it's going to work out. And what I've realized is that, and within saying that, I didn't realize it at the moment, but if I didn't have faith, what else would I have? And the other thing was that I knew I was putting the work in through those situations. And maybe you felt like that, and maybe you've experienced this. But what I've come to realize is we have a choice. And we can talk about having an unreasonable faith, right? When I think about like an unreasonable amount of faith, because what else did I have, right? But rather, is it really unreasonable? Or is it the most reasonable thing that we could have? Is that faith? It feels like it's unreasonable because it's not tactical. It's not strategic in the way that many of us that are solutions and problem solving oriented would like to believe, when we're the people that want to have control over things in our lives, that type A horse personality that many of us are blessed with. But rather, is it really that unreasonable? Or is it, in fact, the most reasonable part of the plan? The most reasonable part of the plan to have faith first, to trust in God, to trust that you are doing what you're meant to be doing as long as you're leading a life with your ears open and you're listening to Him. You're listening to that gut intuition. You're listening to what you know is truly right. And you're not getting caught up on the man-made precepts of what other people are going to think about you and all those other things that don't actually matter, but in fact hold us back. And in the moment, in the heat of the battle, in the heat of the moment, when that overwhelmingly unreasonable amount of faith would surge into my mind, into my body, it felt totally unreasonable. But I had nothing left. I had nothing else to say because I didn't have the answer. Yet, now, being a few clicks down the road, I realized that was not unreasonable faith. But I had gotten to a point where faith was the only option, as long as I was putting in the work. And then that became the most reasonable thing to do. And it's important that we carry that reasonable faith with us through every day of our lives. To put that faith first, to make sure that we're moving forward, listening to the bigger picture at hand, and ensuring that even in the good times, that we don't lose sight of the faith that we need. Because I know from sheer fact when things are good, it's easy to lose sight of that. I have lost sight of that in the past. But when you get backed into a corner and you're fully committed to the mission that you are on, because you fully believe that the thing that you are doing in your life is what you are meant to be doing, and there's no other choice, there is no other option. Quitting is no choice because you are on the right path. You just don't know how it's going to work out. The only option becomes faith. And you might be at a different stage of that, of where you're like, am I on the right track? And that's where you have to have faith. You got to listen to your soul. You got to listen to your gut. And then even when you follow that path, you can't expect it just because you're doing what you're supposed to be doing that it's going to be easy. Because, oh no, that's not usually the case either. And it takes an unreasonable amount of faith to pursue the thing that you're meant to be doing, to pursue the meaningful thing that you're meant to be doing in your life, whatever that may be. And so I don't want to ramble on about this too much longer. I do hope it inspires some of you to move through your life with unreasonable faith, knowing that it's not unreasonable at all, but it's the most reasonable thing that we can have in our own lives. And that when we put that faith first and we simplify things and we let go of the control and the worry and we make sure that we're doing our end of the deal, that it will work out. It will work out. And I've only come to realize that when I had no other weapons to throw at the solution, to find the solution. And I realized that I needed something much bigger than myself to pull a solution off. And that's probably one of the biggest blessings, because it has affected so many changes in my life. And hopefully for some of you, it doesn't take you to get to that point. But if it does, be ready for it. It's just a mere acceptance that He's got your back, as long as you have that faith and you're willing to let go. And sometimes you got to hit that bottom first. So when you hit that bottom, you can bounce back. Y'all go out there and have an amazing week. I hope this message carries with you. I hope it helps. I hope it resonates. And I hope that all the personal stuff wasn't too much for you, but rather that you can actually take what I've shared with you and use it. Use it in the days and the weeks and the months to come and the years to come in your life. So have a blessed one, y'all. Talk to you next time.